So who all has questions for the Anime Pope? Let's take it around to the back and then we'll move forward, okay? All right.
In the podcast with Joe Apocalypse, you said that something you learned from game design is that bringing stuff to 90% is usually good enough because you start encountering diminishing returns. So that's something that you do with your videos. You get them to 90% or maybe 91% and then release them. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a project that you're like, no, I have to get this to 100%, or at the very least, like 98% to do it justice?
My most recent video, actually, the Yu-Gi-Oh! And Depression video, that one was one that I really wanted to be perfect. So actually, I got it at like 70% quality from my editor the day that it was supposed to go up. And I ended up sending it back to fortunately I had the Makia video ready to go up. But yeah, there are some videos that I'm like, this has to be at 100% quality. So I will keep working on them until they're done, as opposed to, until I can hit the deadline. But I mean, it's a matter of like managing stuff, right? Like, you can't get everything to that, like, to exactly where you want it. Is it all good? Okay. All right. You can't get everything to exactly where you want it, and trying to do so is a really good way to burn yourself out. I think that it is important to keep most stuff at that 90% level, because it takes twice as long to get it to 100%, but some stuff is worth it, and I absolutely do that. The PSAs are another example where I release them when they're done, and not necessarily when they're releasable, you know? Good question. Next, over there on the left, in the blue shirt.
Like anybody literally living in their mother's basement, because, I had to, I have decided to actually create a YouTube channel, and I'm also trying to branch out onto social media, because I find that with the expansion of anime and how mainstream it has been, over the years, there is a lot of potential for communication within the anime fandom online. This might actually be a bit of a leap. I would like to be a digital influencer. How exactly did you get there?
Honestly, it was a mix of things, right? Like, I was kind of lucky that previous to doing what I did, I had been like a very dedicated member of the R-anime community. Now they're not big fans of me, a lot of them. Yeah. But
every upvote helps.
Every upvote helps, but I'm not gonna upvote beg at a panel.
It's not begging.
But for real, I was part of the Reddit community, and that gave me a first place to share it. And that was like a huge initial boost. Was I like legitimately just wanted feedback on a video that I'd made from a community that I was part of and really liked, and that gave me that initial boost that I needed to get into some people's sub boxes and get some people who would share me around. That video got, I think, like 5,000, 6,000 views in a day after I shared it on Reddit, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. Back then, when you're starting out, anything over 1,000 is a lot of views. The thing was that was just like a test video, and then I wasn't gonna do anything for a while, and it did so well that I was like, I gotta go out and get a much better microphone and make another one of these in 2 weeks. And I did it, and it was about baby steps, and nobody watched it because nobody watched Baby Steps. Thank you! Baby Steps is the best. Everybody should watch Baby Steps. It's like the best shonen anime like come up story out there. Basically I put my stuff out there in a community that I was already a part of, where I had friends. And that's kind of where you got to start. You can't just like expect to throw to social media, throw to Twitter and all of that, and expect people to come watch your stuff, because nobody knows who you are, and nobody knows what you're making. And as you said, the market for anime is getting more and more mainstream, which means it's getting more and more saturated. Like back when I started, I had to do something unique in analyzing scenes from anime, because nobody was really doing the every frame of painting thing in regards to anime, and I was like, okay, I'll try to make that my niche, because I knew that if I did reviews, nobody was going to watch them, because like Arcata already exists, and he's kind of cornered that market, and Demo we thought was coming back then. We thought he'd be back. Pour one out for Demo. Yeah, so we thought, like back then, I was like, I have to do something remarkable, and that's still true. You still got to do something that is different from what other people are doing, because if you're just making the kind of content that you already like seeing, that already exists, people aren't going to watch it. It just makes sense to be doing stuff that's different and interesting, and that will surprise people and make them think, oh, I didn't know I wanted this. I hope that answered your question well?
Yeah, it actually did.
What?
Gaijin Goomba told me the same thing.
Yeah, Gaijin Goomba is a smart guy.
Yes.
Good, great guy too, actually. Yes. Like a really, really swell person. All right, next question. I'm gonna get you in the red shirt right in the middle just to make him work.
I don't know if you made it on, I think, the second day to the JoJo panel.
Yes.
You did. What did you think of Part 5's premiere, and also, what is your ideal ED for Vento Arreo?
Ooh, that is a hard question. Ideal. Like the thing is, I'm not that much of a music nerd. So my ideal
DMC.
Run DMC.
Here's the question: is that weird, or does that actually make sense?
It makes sense.
It kind of makes sense. That's why it's
okay. So the JoJo panel was awesome, and the Part 5 premiere was especially kick-ass.
I didn't see it.
The Taste of a Liar was a fantastic scene. But overall, I think they've really stepped up like the animation and production on that. Like I felt like Part 4 was a step up already with like the sort of Lynchian camera angles and stuff like that.
It's got the best parts of Part 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like put
mixed into one, yeah. Now, as for the perfect ending song for that, I don't know. That is hard, because it's got to be like something 2000s era. Yeah. You know what? There's only All-Star. Get your game on, go play.
But what about One Week?
One week would also be good.
1 week since you look.
You know what? They just need to cycle through the entire Digimon the movie soundtrack.
Greatest of all time. Pretty good.
That is the greatest anime soundtrack of all time, for real.
Had Smash Mouth the year before Shrek.
Yeah. I have watched Fooly Cooly. Digimon the movie has the greatest anime soundtrack of all time. I like, for real, that was my favorite CD when I was like 8. Yeah. No, Despacito's got to be the. That's got to be the ED for Part 6.
Yeah. Despacito. It's so sad.
No,
Only on the last episode.
If you haven't read the manga,
Read the manga.
You read the manga. All right. Next question. You with the cotton candy over there? I think that's cotton candy.
It is. I lost my water bottle and I'm just coping. So I imagine you have a very like set schedule when it comes to kind of watching a lot of anime and things like that. I was wondering, as somebody who's trying to catch up on like years of missed anime and trying to watch as much as possible, what are some habits you'd suggest? So should I drink like black tea in the morning and things like that? And how much would you say is too much, if that's even a thing? You know, watch it like before you start to just lose all the information.
I mean, I would say that I can watch about like 4-ish hours of anime a day and like still enjoy and appreciate all of it. Unless I'm like binging a series, in which case I can binge a whole series in a couple days. That's kind of how Yazzie and I watched Escaflowne. That was really fun. The Escaflowne remaster is fantastic. But yeah, for the most part, it's like a few hours a day, and then I got to get writing done and stuff like that. I will binge if I just want to enjoy something, and it's like. Yes. Hope you come back. But yeah, I'll binge stuff and I'll watch a couple hours. It depends. And sometimes I will partake in a certain thing that is legal in California and about to be legal in Canada. I won't say what it is. And I will watch a whole series, and that'll be a good time too. But you know. All right, next question. You in the lolly hat up front.
Hi, so you've mentioned in your videos that you went to film school and used to do video game critiques. I was wondering what made you decide to do critique and analysis rather than maybe original narrative?
Well, I mean, for a while I wanted to get into like writing.
You wrote a book, didn't you?
No.
It was on your old website.
I wrote the first chapter of like a pretty edgy and dark. So there was a fantasy thing.
Called SAO.
Yeah, and then there was. I also tried my hand at doing like a kind of grim murder mystery thriller thing. I've like. The thing about writing fiction for me is that my brain has a very fast turnaround on what I can focus on. So like getting a whole novel done will essentially require me to do something like Nano, where I just sit down and do nothing but that until it's done. Because just the way that I process stuff, it is much easier to do shorter projects. And ultimately that lends itself to YouTube for me a little bit, and I was a game journalist before I came into this. That just works better for me. I can do those long projects, but I need to be working with other people so that I can like focus in on it. And there is not a lot of call for writers in the video game industry because good writing is not a priority. I don't know if you guys have noticed from the fact that David Cage has a career. Okay, Mass Effect had pretty good writing in the first one.
That's why I said remember Mass Effect.
Yeah, and it just slid down. But yeah, so I ended up at YouTube partly because it just ends up being easier for me to do quickly and like part of my philosophy of work is it is better to be making something than to be thinking about making something, you know? And I do definitely want to go into some kind of narrative form in the future. I mean, dream would be to make my own anime in some capacity, but that's like a far off dream. 3 episodes?
Yeah, just make 3 episodes, like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, 3 2-minute long episodes. I can do that. But yeah, I mean, I would like to make my own anime or maybe write a video game in the future. But right now, I'm really happy doing what I do on YouTube. So you know, I'm happy doing that. Okay, so what was your name again? Billy, right there. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So real quick, going back to JoJo Part 5 for the premiere. So I've read all the manga, I'm caught up in everything, and I always felt that Part 5 didn't develop Giorno too much. Like, I don't know, I always felt like there could be more to him. But I did notice in the premiere they added like little things that developed him more. Do you think that they might develop him more in the anime than they did in the manga?
I mean, they have given him a lot more little characterization, I agree. And I think that, like, part of the JoJo anime's sort of mission statement has been to improve each part. So it makes sense if they added a little bit more. It's also the director's favorite part of the manga. So I would expect a little bit more characterization. I don't know how much, but Bruno's really the main character anyway. So as long as they get Bruno right, I'm going to be happy with that. All right, next to you with the blue hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a weird hypothetical, but if it's not that weird, it probably will happen. But if YouTube were to just shut itself down from stupid in the next month, what would your plan be as like for a career and life in general?
If YouTube were to implode next month, I don't know. I think I would probably. I mean, I don't want to go the way of the Twitch stream dinosaurs. So I would probably try to work what I do now on Crunchyroll or another platform like that, because I feel like there's a space for that there, and I know people there, so it just kind of would make sense to jump that way. Assuming that I can't make videos at all, though, I would make a serious attempt to write a novel, I think, or write a screenplay and just get that made. Yeah, that I think would be my go-to instead of YouTube. All right, you in the white shirt, and then we'll start moving back again.
You mentioned earlier that your dream is to write an anime.
Mm-hmm.
What studio would you want to work with?
Ooh, that is a tough question. Quantic Dream's a good answer. I would say Studio Bones. They've made a lot of my favorite anime over the years. It just like makes sense to me.
Maybe a Scrap Princess remaster?
A Scrap Princess remaster would be cool, but Scrapped Princess was a digital anime, so it will look like garbage. And it is out on Blu-ray already. It looks okay, but it's just an upscale. You know, that's the...
Give us a GTO Blu-ray.
A GTO Blu-ray would be great, but I don't think they have the masters of that anymore.
I know.
But yeah, for studio stuff, I would say, yeah, Bones would be my first pick, and then after that,
the studio behind Take Here.
I would throw to probably Madhouse, because Madhouse is fantastic. Those are like my two favorites, my two go-tos. Or Sunrise. Sunrise would be my third pick, because goddamn do they ever make pretty shows. All right, someone had a Bakugo sign right there. All right.
I thought you were gonna say like Studio Pink Pineapple.
Studio Pink Pineapple, that's a good one too.
That's the anime of my life, baby.
What is your opinion on traps?
I think that it is a contentious issue that I just think it's a contentious issue, and I don't want to step on anyone whose experience is affected by that. At the same time, like, I get the whole like effeminate boy as a joke thing, the otokonoko as a gag within anime, and I've seen Rom-Com Snafu, for instance. That's got a really good gag in that regard, and I do think it can be funny in the context of anime, but in the context of this community, it has kind of been like dragged out into an unpleasant place. You know, that's my opinion on that whole thing. All right, next question. Swordfish.
Oh wow. He's got a shark on his stick. I didn't even notice that.
His name is Chomp Jr., by the way. My apologies.
Hello, Chomp Jr. It's nice to meet you.
All right. And it's such a saturated market that we're in right now. You obviously have a lot of influences and a lot of things that motivate you. What exactly pushes you to create the new content that you seek? Or if not, what producers, creators, or other sources of media help you or influence the media you make?
I mean, I'm like constantly looking at new things, and I'm trying to bring in new influences, because one problem that is a problem in anime, and also a bit of a problem with AniTube to a certain extent, is just people only watching other creators in the same sphere and not really drawing from outside of that. Like, one of the most confidence-giving things for me was yesterday at the JoJo panel, when they asked the director of JoJo which directors inspire him most, and he was like, Steven Spielberg.
Really?
Yeah, so he said a bunch of American directors, and Del Toro. He said Del Toro too. And you can tell David Lynch as well, even though he didn't say David Lynch, you can tell David Lynch is a bit of an influence on that. But yeah, so I try to look outside of the anime space on YouTube when I'm doing my own thing. And in that regard, I'd say like my biggest inspirations were Every Frame of Painting, Extra Credits, the Happy Video Game Nerd, who's come back as Stop Skeletons from Fighting now, and he's fantastic. He's fantastic. And recently, I've gotten really into and Zero Punctuation was a big influence, because as I think it is on basically everybody who does stuff, and the Spoonie one. I don't know if any of you guys remember Spoonie, but yeah, his videos were some of my favorites growing up. These days, I'm really inspired by Movies with Mikey on FilmJoy. If you guys are not watching Movies with Mikey, he makes the best film reviews on YouTube, period. And you need to be watching his stuff. Like he has recontextualized some of my favorite films for me, and I'm trying to bring a little bit more of that personal angle into stuff now. I also am I watch a lot of Linus Tech Tips and a lot of Lazy Game Reviews, just because they're like really chill and easy to enjoy.
There's my background noise.
Yeah, they're my favorite like background videos. Exactly. So I'm sure that subconsciously a little bit of LGR's cadence and a little bit of Linus's energy and way of presenting shills especially has worked its way into me, and yeah, I mean I hit like a broad spectrum, and then outside of that like specific YouTube space, I'm really inspired by Edgar Wright specifically as a director, and by Christopher Moore, who is my favorite author of all time, and Terry Pratchett, who's my other favorite author of all time. Those are big inspirations for me. So yeah, that was a long list. Let me see, with the anime print blue shirt over on the right. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's you.
Do you think your shilling persona has ever been detrimental to the growth of your channel? I've been on Reddit and I've been on forums. They seem to really not like that.
I mean, okay, so the whole idea of like the shill master was to me like a joke on the idea of people complaining about people selling out in the first place. Because from my perspective, to make art, you need to make money making art. That's just a fact of life. You can either be a starving artist, which you're gonna be miserable and you're gonna make stuff that's miserable, or you can be a part-time artist, which means that you will never have enough time to make what you wanna make. Or you can try to find a way to make a comfortable living doing what you want to do so that you can do it as much as possible. And while I get that people have distaste with bringing advertisements in, I've made a policy to never advertise for something that I wouldn't personally recommend to a friend. and I've also made like a policy to never compromise the content of my videos for anything. I can't say how much due to contract, but for example, there was a specific sponsorship that I was going to do that involved the licensors for Sword Art Online in Japan. And those licensors wanted me to take a nicer approach to the anime. And I turned down a not insubstantial amount of money last minute because I was not going to compromise what I do. So I think that there's a difference between advertising, which is a necessary part of the online business in general, and selling out, which I would see as actually compromising what you do and compromising what you stand for and believe in to make a quick buck. And while that will sometimes make you a quick buck, I think that things like the CSGO Lotto scandal have shown that in the long term it kills your credibility, and it not only does it shoot you in the foot as an artist, but it also shoots you in the foot for your ability to advertise in the future, because who's going to trust the CSGO Lotto guys anymore? Who's going to trust somebody who throws to a mobile app that ends up putting spyware on your phone? So while I understand that people find it distasteful to do that, and I understand that perspective, to me, I can understand why they're mad, because the shill persona is kind of designed to provoke and make fun of those people in the first place, because an artist's got to eat, and I think that doing what you can to do that without compromising yourself is what you got to do in order to make as much content for people to enjoy as possible. All right, you in the leather jacket.
First off, thank you so much for your content. Your content is so great. We're all here because we love you, so thank you for that.
Thank you. I love you guys too.
And I have two quick questions. One of them is real, one of them is fodder. The real one is, will we ever see more like in-depth analysis or whatever you're comfortable with when it comes to Evangelion? Because I know Evangelion is one of those just monoliths of things and Galactic Heroes. So will we?
So Evangelion, I am trying to find the right time for a What's in an OP.
If you need Evangelion analysis, go to my channel.
But I've got one thing to throw out there that will end up in the What's in an OP eventually, which is that I think that the Evangelion OP, in the context of when it came out, makes one of the biggest statements about what kind of show it's going to be and what kind of impact it's going to have of like any anime opening ever. And to give you a hint at what I'm going to be, look at it in the context of other anime opening or of other mecha anime openings that were coming out at the same time. And that is kind of, yeah, there's a lot to say about Eva. There is a lot to say about Eva. I think that DigiBro did a good job covering the first couple episodes, but there is a lot to unpack about that show, and I would like to. Galactic Heroes, I've got to binge a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of that, and it's all good. It's crazy. All right, I've got time for one more question, and then we're going to have to do the PSA. So I think this is so hard. I'm bad at making decisions. You with the double hands up in the middle.
Jeff, it's me again. It's Raphael from yesterday.
Hey, Raph. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I have So, I know we all know your opinion of SAO. I wanted to know like what your opinion of is like the somewhat witty abridged series of it, the SAO abridged series. I just want to know if do you think it changes anything, or do you think you have like the same opinion of it either way?
I think something witty abridged is amazing. I think that they have taken something that is awful and turned it into something great. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. I'm definitely going to be doing another one of my how to fix videos about Gun Gale specifically, because the thing about something witty does is they turn it into a comedy, and that is really cool. but I would ultimately like to show how SAO could be a better drama. That's what I've been trying to do with How to Fix Alfheim, and I'm gonna do one more of those. So I think there are 2 different approaches to that, and they're doing a great job of parodying SAO. With that said,
Jeff, are you aware that there's a change.org petition to make you the consultant on the Netflix SAO?
How many signatures does it have?
27.
That's a lot. I was not aware.
Go check it out. Go on change.org and sign make Geoff Thew the consultant for the Netflix SAO.
All right, let's throw the video up on the screen. Okay, it's playing. All right. This. Okay, I'm going to request, since we are premiering this and it's not going up on YouTube for a little while, if everybody could just put their cell phones away and just make sure nobody's recording this part of the panel, I would really appreciate that.
I broke my cell phone for this panel. Good job. Doing God's work.
Okay, let's hit play and enjoy this brand new PSA, courtesy of Baron J and Nice Guy, and a little bit of me too.
His Divine Grace, the Anime Pope.
Glad you guys enjoyed it. That was. Oh, thank you. Okay, that's that. Okay, we got to get out of here right now because we have run exactly up to their. If you got any questions for me, is there anywhere safe?
Probably not.
Probably not. Honestly, probably safe.
Okay.
If you guys have Discord, you can join the Mother's Basement public Discord.
Join the Mother's Basement Discord. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I didn't get to.